Hello again, Model Kit Builders. So we have another 30-minute missions. This time is Forestieri. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Chassis eEXM-S01U. It's 144 scale, so it could fit in with your high grades and real grade Gundams. It's number 46 in the 30 minutes missions lineup. I instinctively want to say 30-minute missions, but it's actually 30 minutes missions, so improper English. Alright, there's some promotional pics there. Alright. No, there we go, much better promotional pics. So we have a very blocky looking Roy robot there. So, interesting look. Take a look at these plastics. Nice clear, I guess, greenish blue, kind of purplish color, nicely molded. Although Bandai has a lot of weird artifacts in their moldings. The surface is smooth and all, but you can see these lines in there where the plastic flows. Alright, let's just look at this and then I'll fast forward the build here. Alright, we have some nice promotional images again. So it's an aerial combat, special attack type, equipped with some stuff. Enhanced offensive capabilities. Alright, and there it is. Oh, here we go. So they protect bases, apparently. Alright. So you don't need to have glue or anything. Here are all the pieces on the runners. You just need to be able to push things together. That's pretty much it. It's just a press fit, friction fit everything. And you don't even need to read English. You just have to recognize those characters and then put them together. So they're really pretty easy to make, which is nice. As long as you don't, painting is what makes model kits difficult. Alright, so I'm going to fast forward this and come back with the articulation and any problems I run into at the end. So I'm back, and it took only 35 minutes for me to put this together. This is maybe my third kit that I've put together, and after a while you kind of get recognized the parts. You know, something that seems universal is this hip joint seems universal, and just the way it's constructed, it's symmetric. You know, all the leg stuff is symmetric, the arm stuff is all symmetric, only the, torso is a little bit asymmetric. So it's actually quite easy to put together. I didn't really clean up the parts 100%, but I'm okay with it. Anyways, there are a few extra bits. Here's the Roy, the gun here, the saber, but you have three extra hands, it looks like. You know, you have two open hands, two fists, or three fists for some reason. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Oh, one must be a pistol holding one. Maybe this is for the pistol holding, because you see, the thumb is different. The only problem is they don't give you back plates for these extra hands, which I think is really cheap. I mean, that's weak. Like, to have to take this piece off every time I want to swap out the hand, I think is really annoying, you know. It's not like it would have made much difference in cost to have three extra back hands, or just get rid of one of these hands and give us the back hands so you don't have to sit there and take the hands apart. Let's go over the accessories, I guess, first. Here's the gun itself. It's a pretty cool looking gun. It's got a 3mm hole if you want to add some stuff to it. Speaking of which, there are these extra bits. You have two extra poly caps, which is nice, and then two extra shoulder joints, but it's not a complete shoulder, so I don't know, maybe they would go for other things. This looks like something that would pop into one of these hinges here, and then you can peg stuff on. So in fact, this would be a good reason why there's a hole in this gun, so you could just peg this gun like a holster, kind of, although it's sticking out quite a bit, right? It's kind of weird. And then the muzzle here has this tab. Unfortunately, it's weird that they don't use round pegs for the guns. Maybe that could peg in here. Yeah, it can actually peg in there. Alright. Okay, so that's what that extra bit is. Yeah, this is a bit of a mystery. I guess maybe... Oh, if you maybe want to use the shoulders without these guards. You see, the shoulder piece has this extra peg, so this thing can peg onto it. But you can get rid of it, and just have this go right into the torso. And in fact, I actually accidentally put one of these on this side, and I flexed that gray, a bunch of stress marks, because I was putting it on the one that didn't have the extra length peg. So be mindful of that. Okay, so I pop this shield back on this shoulder pad here. There we go. It's got a nice little snap to it, this gray thing you may have heard. So that shouldn't fall off so easily next time. Alright, so it's kind of a weird looking robot though, if you look at it. It's kind of looks like a dog. That's what I get out of it, a dog. But I assume this would be a cockpit for someone. Okay, so the head here, the neck itself is on a hinge, so you can see the neck moving back and forth, and then there's a ball at the top, so the head can move quite a bit, all the way up and back like that, or come forward and then look down at the ground, or anything in between. After a while it will pop loose though, which makes sense. Okay, so anyways, and then side to side rocker is quite fantastic, because that it's really weird. It's a weird looking robot. Tell me it doesn't look like a kangaroo, or actually maybe it's a kangaroo instead of a dog, right? It's got these two little beaver kind of rodent teeth on it. And then this little clear piece is kind of interesting, but it can see right into the neck. I kind of feel like that could have been higher to hide the neck a little bit more, but then I guess you'd lose the articulation there. So, Bandai knows what they're doing. Alright, the shoulder you saw, there's a ball, so there's a slight butterfly back and forth, and you can obviously rotate it around, and then this shield armor will rotate on that, and then as you saw, it will fall off as well, but you can pivot it up like that if you want to clear the arm. So the arm will go up quite a bit, as you can see on that hinge, the shoulder hinge. And then this has a round peg on it, so you can rotate the bicep. And then we have a really good hinge here for the elbow. I mean, it's bending more than 90 degrees, you can see. Right, so it's just that one pivot right there. There's nothing on the top half. This little shield is on a peg, so I guess you could use it as a wrist guard as well, flipping it that way. So all these armor bits are 3mm pegs and holes. It looks a bit naked without the armor there, so leave it on. Alright, yeah, and then the hands, you know, they have ball pegs, so all that standard movement you'd get out of a hand with the ball peg. The torso is quite good for its articulation. There's a polycap ball up in here, and then this torso is actually two pieces, as you can see, right? So, and then that is on a peg rotating into the hip, so you can't get much front and back. The ball, only the top ball will give you a little arching forward, a little arching back, but this side to side swaying, you know, you move that hinge there. It's quite tight though right now. It's pretty good, right? Alright, the hip is a little bit different as for what I'm used to. Usually these things are trapped inside the torso, but in this case, this is just on this peg. But anyways, you can rotate it back and down if you want to get the thing higher. You'd have to remove this armor bit if you want to make the leg swing forward. And then this hip here is a hinge, as you can see. But basically, you can see the staggering of the legs based on this hip rotation piece here. So it's quite interesting. Or the height difference right there. Look how much extra height you can get out of this guy. So this would lend itself well for posing like that, right? You know, getting a solemn, sloping kind of pose. So that's appreciated. Let me put this back on here. This is just an armor piece covering up the leg. Strange that hole isn't round, it's square. Weird stuff going on. Obviously you could flip it up the other way, but it would probably hinder articulation maybe? No, maybe it wouldn't actually. Maybe that would be a better place for the holster. Doing that one upwards. So let's see about this now. It's better, I think. So anyways, you can pop these things around anywhere you want. Alright, yes. So there's a peg going down into the thigh, and so you can rotate the thigh. The knee is a double hinge, so you can bend it quite a bit. I mean, it can kick its own back. Look at that. It can basically collapse down on itself, that knee. I like how they have this extra plastic piece to hide the back side of the knee. It's really neat. And this is an extra piece hiding the front side of the elbow joint. That is the best articulation of a leg I've seen so far in 30-minute missions. I mean, it's literally touching its own thigh almost, right? Or quadris, or whatever the back of the thigh is. Alright, so that's nice. And then you have only a front back moving ankle. It doesn't move left to right like some of the other ones I'm accustomed to. But there is a ball peg on the end of it, so the foot can still get a lot of side-to-side rocker. Only a little bit front and back though, so which is fine because that's what that joint is for, right? So in the end, you can still get a lot of posing because look at that. Look at how far this thing can cant over. It's crazy, right? So you can get some serious. Look at this. This is like we could do a Jean-Claude Van Damme almost. That's pretty cool, right? So in fact, this design might be better than the other ones I've seen as far as articulation goes, having this polycap in the foot like that, and then this moving back and forth. Interesting, interesting. You'll see there's a hinge attachment area on the back of the foot if you want to add something there. Little holes in the front of the thigh. So this one isn't actually plastered with too many holes, it seems, right? From the front view, you only have these two visible. From the side, you got more there on the side. There's actually one in the lower leg there. And then you have some in the bottom of the feet. If you want to put the guy on the stand, you can. Or you can put the stand anywhere on this thing. This backpack comes off, obviously. There we go. 3 standard holes back there. And then the backpack in the center has that hinge. So again, this one extra piece they gave you is great because you can pretty much mount the rifle anywhere you want, right? I think the most logical would be back here. Right, so very neat. These are always problematic. They seem to want to fall off a lot. There's not enough of a wrap around the peg, you know. I wish it flexed more and got around that peg more. The Roy is not too much to talk about. It's just 3 pieces after all. So you got the legs here. It's just all one solid chunk. Then you got this like roll cage like frame. And then the head is just with like a cube that rotates. It doesn't even have like eyes or like anything indicating a face. It would have been cool if like they had some, maybe even just a door or something, right? Some sort of detail on there. Okay. So now the saber is a little peg, and then it's obviously a round thing to fit into the hand. So it can go like that, and it'll stop there. But that little gray piece, yeah, you could probably put that peg right in there. You can, yeah, so you can store it, and then you can obviously store it in the off position that way. So again, this is a square peg. I'm not sure why they'd have these square pegs. I think everything should just be a round peg. It'd be more friction. Oh, I just now noticed there's a peg hole there for this little guy. Alright, so that works as well, even better. Obviously, you probably want to have the thing on your back, but whatever. Are there any other tiny... Oh, there's one in the thigh as well. And that thing also comes off, but it looks a little naked without this little white piece here. So see, this is annoying. The fact that this is square... You could easily, if you're used to twisting things into round holes, and this is square, and this is so small, you're going to be very susceptible to twisting this and shearing off that peg. So I think Bandai really needs to rethink that. If you're training your customers to use round things, everything should be round, right? So don't be surprised if you accidentally tear this peg off of this beam saber because, you know, the thing doesn't have a round peg. Okay. I wonder if it'll even fit in the front of the kneecap. Let's see. It's a little loose now. It's not meant to go there at all. Try to see where else one could put this thing. Unfortunately, there's nothing on the gun. It would have been kind of neat to have this on the gun, right? A beam saber gun. Like, I think maybe Crossbone has something similar. Yeah, that would have been a cool thing to have. I mean, if you're going to cast in that hole, cast in the little peg next to it. But again, really, everything just be a round peg. Okay, well, yeah, so it's a really thin character, so you can definitely get a lot of crazy poses out of this guy, especially this one might have the most articulation I've seen so far. This torso articulation's just nuts. Let's see if I can balance it like that. Oh. Yep, there we go. So it's a break dancer. You can do some breakdancing moves with this particular character. You know, if you use some poster board, you could do like a Matrix Neo thing, dodging the bullets there, because of this leg articulation. It's just, let's see how far we can compress that. Unfortunately, the backpack's actually getting in the way there. if you're gonna have the feet engaged, oh. I see, so that maxed out there, can't go any further. So that seems to be as far down as I can get the character on its back. And unfortunately, I was thinking about doing like a breakdance move like this, but the wrist will not bend perpendicular to the forearm. You know, it can only bend this far. So unless you put a leg down, it's hard to do. But that's that's a pretty cool shot right there, I think. You know, it's doing like a power slide. Okay, well, very cool stuff. Let's leave it at that. Essentially, you can do a lot of great poses with this one. It's a weird looking robot for sure. Looks like a marsupial of some sort. But it's a very posable marsupial. And you got a few extra hands, which is nice. Okay, well, interesting 30-minute missions today. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for checking this out.